I made a big mistake this year. It's a long story full of many twists and turns, but what it really comes down to is this idea that I thought I could change a client. By that, I don't mean change literally one client A to one client B, but instead, I broke one of my core rules that I always try as hard as I can to get the people that I work with to follow, which is simple. You cannot change people, but you can change people. I broke that golden rule this year, and it's just been a good reminder as to why it's one of my golden rules. The idea that any of us can change a person from being one type to another, maybe it's possible, but it would take forever, and I don't have forever. And the mistake I made this year was believing that I had forever and I could condense it into a reasonable amount of time to make a reasonable amount of change to make a client fit my ideal. Whenever I screw something up or I just am less than happy with the results, I go back to the writers and thinkers that helped form how I think and what I do. Chiefly among those people is David Maister. If you don't know who David Maister is, I'll spare you some time. He's a pretty fusty British import expat that moved to America and found success by centering young professionals and demanding professional excellence in the people that worked for him. Granted, it's not the most fun reading material, especially over Christmas, but when I falter, I can open any of the pages of any of the books that I have of David Maister's, and there are dog-eared, highlighted quotes on pretty much any given page. David Maister is someone that I'm bringing up here because the client that I failed to convince to change, largely it's because I could not convince them that David Maister's image of professionalism was one that would benefit them. And I'm not just swallowing whole what Maister writes here. He's just someone who I pick up a book of his, I read, and it almost entirely, like a Venn diagram overlapping, works with my mentality. So in my hand, I have True Professionalism by David Maister. And the tagline reads, "The courage to care about your people, your clients, and your career." And this is a book that I read a couple of years ago and just absolutely adored. And my copy, I can open up any single page. More often than not, there's a highlight of something that particularly spoke to me. This particular quote, I have no idea if it's played out. You all know it, and I do not, but I think it's something really worth repeating. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Let me just repeat that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this is an ideal that's so foundational to the way that I think and view the world. This is such a foundational idea to me. It's how I see the world and how I operate with people I know, both personally and professionally. And honestly, I'm too old and too lazy to keep more than one set of books. When someone's trying to carry a heavy box into the apartment building that I live in, I go out of my way to hold the door open for them, not because I think I'm going to get something out of that, but because it's the right thing to do. And I think that maybe that person would then in turn do it for someone else. And maybe one day I might be on the receiving end of it. And by one set of books, what I mean is that professionally speaking, I do this for people all the time. I take an interest in people. I get to know them. I ask them questions about their life. I don't dominate conversation. I cede conversational ground to people because I want them to feel comfortable around me, not to manipulate them, but to make them feel good about themselves and to know that I care about them. It's a crying shame to me that most people, if given the chance, could not simply paraphrase what someone just said to them. Try it. Next time you're in a one-on-one with someone, ask them to repeat what you just said to them. There are ways of doing this without being confrontational, but the complexities of how people feel and how they express themselves are fundamental to being a good professional, being a good listener, and being a good communicator. And this year, the mistake I made was being unprofessional. I wasn't a good listener. I wasn't a good communicator because my ideal dominated my thinking, and I mistakenly believed that I could change the client to come around to my way of thinking. You may be listening to this and wondering, why the hell is this guy airing his dirty laundry in front of me? And really, this is just a reminder to myself. And if you can learn from it and benefit from it, then that's great. You cannot change people. You can only change people. The same goes for clients. If you pick up a client that you know is not a good fit from the start, you know how it's going to go. And in the end, someone is going to suffer. And that's just a lack of professionalism. There are absolutely times where we need the money and we take on poor fit clients just because of revenue. And that's fine. But as we age and as we gain more experience, we should be entirely more confident to know that there are plenty of good fit clients, and that you're accepting this poor fit client will only obfuscate your ability to say yes to someone who does need your help, to someone who is a good fit. And this is really a reminder for myself about persistence. Because as Calvin Coolidge said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. So I made a mistake, but as Maister would say, be intolerant about the pursuit of excellence. You're allowed to fail. You're not allowed to not try.